It's Eliot.
If you lose a competitive game, that's fine.
Versus Jolly.
All right, gentlemen, 1 minute opening statements on each side, and then the gloves are off. Paul Jolovitz, you are up first.
When I heard that Eliot wanted to debate me on this acceptable loss thing, I thought immediately of John McEnroe. John McEnroe was known for a phrase, you cannot be serious. Eliot, you can't be serious. There's no such thing as an acceptable loss, ever, for any team, anywhere. It means you're beaten before you play. I'm benching anybody if I'm a coach that thinks that way. An abominable snowman is the same as an acceptable loss. It doesn't exist. The Eagles are a better team. They're favored. They're the best team in football. What about this says loss? Jalen Hurts is who he is, like Michael Jordan, like Tiger Woods. Not that he's at that level, but he never, ever thinks he's going to lose. This team's just not in that kind of mindset. Nick Sirianni has them going in. They didn't play well last week. They still won. They played the Kansas City Chiefs, who they beat in Kansas City in the year in which the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I know it's not a great spot for the Eagles. The Chiefs coming off a loss, home opener. No such thing as an acceptable loss. You're the best team in football. Dominate. Show you are who you are. And you're going to win the football game. And if you don't, you're ticked off. Never, ever an acceptable loss.
Buzzer sounded. Eliot, your opening statement.
Yeah, so all I ask in this debate and conversation about it is honesty. And we can all be honest. It's a very, very tough spot for the Eagles. I agree with you, Jolly. I don't think the Eagles should go into this expecting to lose. I don't think they should go in thinking an acceptable loss. But me and you are not on the Eagles. We're not on the coaching staff. Our job is to analyze this game. So when I look at this matchup, the Eagles, for everyone saying they're way better and it would be a bad loss, they are 1-point favorites. Let's not act like they're a touchdown favorite in this game. There are simply times in sports where it is okay to lose. If you are a 1-point favorite going up against a Chiefs team that's never been 0-2 under Andy and Mahomes, never lost 3 games in a row, 6-1 in home openers, 6-1 in week 2, that's okay. It is okay to lose in that spot. You can't get blown out. We can analyze how they lose, but it is okay to lose this game to the Chiefs. They're not going to go 17-0. Every Philly team is not going to win every single game. I get it. It sounds good to say you can never lose and blah, blah, blah. That's not reality. That's not the truth. When the Giants played the Patriots when they were 15-0, that was obviously an acceptable loss had they lost that game. Losing is okay at times in sports.
I'll just be running through that stuff.
That's what they do. All right, gentlemen. Go.
It's never okay to lose.
Yes, it is.
You say
Yes,
it's almost
it
impossible.
is.
This isn't almost impossible. They're friggin' favored. You'd say it's okay unless they get blown out. It's never okay to accept a loss in advance.
That's not analysis. That's not honesty. Let's
of course
be honest.
It is.
How? So you're telling me the Eagles should win every single game?
No,
the Phillies should win every single game?
When did I say that?
Because you're saying
to
it's never okay to
lose. To accept a loss in advance is ridiculous.
If the Eagles sat all their starters in Week 17 and lost, would that be okay?
No.
So losing is never ever okay.
No, losing is okay, but accepting a loss in advance is never, ever,
so you agree,
ever okay.
You agree there are times where it is okay to lose. You just said it. You agree
not in advance.
What
ever.
If you sit all your starters and you lose, is that an acceptable loss?
Not in advance, no.
Why does in advance matter?
Because you play to win the game.
We're not on the team. We're not playing in the game.
Athletes play to win the game.
Yes, they should. They should play.
Fans in the world, Eagle fans are
play to win the game.
We're going to lose this game?
They should play to win the game.
No.
I agree. But we, as analysts, look at a game and say,
what are you accepting? When you say acceptable loss, what are you accepting
I think
at this
as long
point
as
right
they're
now?
competitive in this Chiefs game, that's
okay. Oh, my God. As long as you're competitive in the best team in football. They won the Super Bowl by 1,000,000 points.
Yeah,
Why
nobody
is it
thought that was going to happen. Because that team that played in the Super Bowl. I thought it was going to
happen.
You thought they would win by 35 points?
I thought they would win by double digits, and I said so, not 35. No.
Then that's a good analysis by you. But if you look at this team, that's not that team. The Chiefs are in a better spot. I've heard you say this. The spot matters when it comes to a game.
You're right.
And you cannot tell me that this is an advantageous spot for the Eagles. The advantage is for the Chiefs in the spot.
I didn't say it was an advantageous spot. It says not an acceptable loss.
If the Eagles and the Chiefs played the Super Bowl on Sunday, I would pick the Eagles to win. But they're not playing in the Super Bowl. They're playing in a game that the Chiefs need to win. The Eagles don't have to win this game. If they lose, it doesn't say anything about Jalen. It doesn't say anything about Nick. It doesn't say anything about this team. It is a game where I want to see them compete, but I'm not learning anything about the Eagles in this game. I'm learning something about the Chiefs. That's why it is acceptable for the Eagles to lose this game. I'm not going to change change my opinion of this team based off the game.
Explain to me why this is not clickbait. Just getting people to talk about
I think your
Eliot's
opinion's
opinions.
clickbait.
Clickbait? They're favored. They're the Super Bowl champions. What are you
They're
talking
favored
about?
by 1 point.
They're
You're
still
talking
favored
about
on
them
the-
like they're a 10-point favorite.
I
It's
was
1
listening to
point,
Joe on the way
and
in.
they opened as underdogs.
Kansas City has played 68 games, according to Mr. Giglio, in Kansas City under Mahomes. They've been a dog once. So the Eagles being favored is a pretty strong statement, given the fact they didn't play well last week. Jalen Carter's back. They're going to rush Mahomes. They did in the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying they can't win the game. They could definitely win the game.
there's
They're
no
a better team
why
than the
are you
Chiefs.
thinking going
but
in
it
and
is
accepting a
because
loss?
sometimes
Ridiculous.
the most desperate because
It's insane.
sometimes the game is not about the rosters that are playing it. The game is about the spot. The game is about who needs it more.
But the
And
psychological
Chiefs
part
need it
about
more.
accepting a loss going in
I'm not
is
asking
insane.
the players to accept
That's
a
not
loss.
competition.
I'm not saying the players
That's a
should accept
win.
a loss. I would never in a million years say the Eagles should accept a loss, right?
You
I'm
just
saying
did.
we can accept a loss.
No.
And why? You're not playing in the game. You're not on the team. You
So
can,
what?
Because you can look at a game and say it is okay if they don't win this game.
No, it's
Unless
not.
every single week we're going to
How
crush
come
them for
America?
losing.
How come they're favored, but I'm supposed to say
They're
it's okay if they
favored
lose?
by 1
They're still favored.
point. They're favored by 1 point.
Elliot, if they were 12-point underdogs,
but the
I
way,
wouldn't say
the way
it's
you're
acceptable
talking
loss.
about it is like they're the way better
No,
team.
I didn't.
And they
I didn't
might
say
be.
that.
You're
Never
acting
did I
like,
say that.
well,
When did
no,
I say that?
Because you're acting like it would be a bad loss. Would
No,
it be a
I'm not
bad
acting
loss?
as a-
That is how you're acting.
Any loss is a bad loss.
That's not true.
They've lost
That's
one time in the
not
last
true.
20 games. Once.
And was that a bad loss?
Yeah.
So anytime they lose, it's a bad loss.
Yeah, this team,
Well,
absolutely.
that's just not realistic.
Any team, anybody loses in advance is a bad loss. You play
See,
to
but
win
I
the
think
game.
that's clickbait.
Great
like
coach.
when you're just gonna say
Clickbait?
Yes, I think you're being clickbaity.
Oh, my
right
God.
now. Well, you
Just-
can accuse me of being clickbaity. I disagree
Because
with
you
your
have
opinion.
hot take after hot
So
take
are
after
you.
hot take.
So are you. You're saying
a hot
losing
take, saying
is
a favorite
You're saying
Super
a
Bowl
losing is
champion
never
is gonna
acceptable.
win a
That's a
football
hot
game.
take to me. If you're saying losing's never acceptable, that's a hot take.
Never acceptable.
Okay, well that's unrealistic. Like, why can't we look at this honestly?
We'll
Why
ask
do we
you
have to
after.
act
Ask
like?
you going into a game. You ever think you're going to lose?
No
Ever?
one's saying the players should think they're losing. We're saying we as analysts can look
No.
at this and say it's not a bad
No.
loss.
Yeah, it's a bad loss.
When the
Every loss is a
Phillies,
bad
when the
loss.
when the Phillies lost to the Astros in 2022, was that a bad loss?
Yes, 'cause they
no,
lost.
they were not even supposed to be
I don't
there.
care who's supposed to do what. You're supposed to compete.
But that matters
play
when you're
hard,
talking
and
about
try
the
to win
analysis
and win.
of a game. It matters when we're talking about how a game.
You're putting one foot in the grave before you even walk into the
Well, good news. I can jump in the grave. I'm not in the game. I could be in the grave. Bury me. Like, I'm not playing. So
Such
I'm
a
not.
fatalist. I can't believe you have
I'm
this
not
point of
being
view.
okay, so
Shocked.
Well, so let me ask you this: every time I pick the Eagles to lose, am I being a fatalist?
No.
Okay, so we
But
agree
picking
there
them
are
to
ti-
lose
Do you
and
pick the
saying
Eagles to
success-
win every
I
week?
pick- no.
Okay,
I
then
pick
so
them to
we
lose
agree
sometimes.
there are weeks where they could lose the game.
That's not an acceptable loss.
Yes,
That's
it
picking them to
is.
lose.
Yes, it is.
No,
Every
it's
loss
not.
is not acceptable. People can get, like, we talk all the time, schedule losses, right? Schedule
I
losses
don't believe in
happen.
scheduled losses either.
Well, I do believe in them. But like, so acceptable losses, people get so mad about the term, but we know what that means. What it means
It
is
means you're a wimp and accept losing. That's
no,
what it
that's
means.
not what it means. That's not what it
that's a good
means.
comeback.
So you think every time they play, they're supposed to win no matter what?
No, they're not supposed to win.
Then you
They're
acknowledge
not gonna
there
go
are times where it's
no.
okay to lose.
Elliot, you're looking from perspective, looking in advance at the game, looking back. You're going
How
to lose
else would we
sometimes.
look
in life.
at a game
we
in
all
advance?
lose in life.
All
But
we
looking
do
in
is talk
advance-
about the Eagles game for a full week.
Elliot, this team needs to show their dominance. They need to show they're the gorilla of the herd, the best team in the league. They're favored
So
on
let
the
me
road.
ask you this.
They've
If
won
they
there
don't
before.
show
They
that-
crushed them in the Super Bowl, and now we're going, oh, it's okay if we lose.
If they
No big deal.
don't show that, are you going to think they like are a worse team,
gotta
that
see
they
the
can't
game.
win
I
the
don't
Super
know.
Bowl? So, but you agree, like for you, how they play in this game will change big picture what you think of them.
I have no idea if 12 guys
Well,
get hurt. Maybe
you can say whether you have an idea or
no,
not.
because
Like,
I watched the game. I don't think things in advance. I don't do the clickbait.
It's not clickbait.
Who's
And-
going to win the World Series in 28-99? I watch
Well, we're
the
not
game.
talking about
I
who's
see
going to
what
win the Super Bowl.
happens.
I'm
and
saying
then
the
I
game in
react.
3 days. If they lose it,
2
do you
days.
think it's okay in 2 days? If they
got you on
lose
that
it,
one.
if they lose it, do you think worse of them? Do you think it's a bit? Because there are games like
It
that,
depends
right?
how it
But would
happens.
you agree there are games where going into it, it is let's see what they have. Like let's see
Of
how
course.
they. Okay, this is not one of them. That's my point.
You have a Super Bowl champion. Why would it be one of them?
Because it's week 2.
So what?
Because
Kansas City played terrible. They're traveling from
how did the
friggin'
Eagles
Brazil.
play last week? Did the Eagles win the Super Bowl
No,
last week?
but
No,
they're
they
gonna
played
improve
terrible
from last
too.
week. They had their defensive tackle thrown out after 6 seconds. AJ didn't
Yeah,
catch
that's
a
a
ball.
flaw on
Saquon
the
didn't do
team.
much.
That's-
Jalen won the friggin' game by himself. This week, if he gets help from the pass rush, maybe from cornerbacks, Kansas City's top 2 receivers are out, Acceptable loss.
Right. So
you cannot be serious.
So the Eagles are the way better team. They're going to play better than
they're way
last
better.
week. Yet they're a one-point favorite. They're a road
favorite.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
The
3-point thing doesn't happen as much. So
sure does. Ask any handicapper anywhere.
I will. But the 1-point favorite, to me indicates this is a close game. There is no shame in losing.
It's a close game.
Because there's no shame in losing.
Loss.
Yes, it is.
I didn't say it's a blowout.
The acceptable part of it is that they should not be expected to win this game. They are not the more desperate team. And for what it's worth, we're all talking about the Chiefs like they're some trash team now. They have the better quarterback and the better head coach in this game. Like, they have arguably the best duo of all time at the helm there. That's a desperate duo. They have arguably the best.
They had the Super Bowl too, right?
They did, and they lost. The Eagles dominated in that game. Yep. But that's not this team. That's not this team.
Oh, my God.
It's not. Half the starters on defense are different.
Who cares?
Right? Well, I care. The fact that they don't have the same players.
Nobody has the same players from year to year.
So you keep saying that's what happened in the Super Bowl. Like,
well, they're not totally
same
different teams either.
No, but they are not. The Eagles currently as constructed.
But that
and
doesn't
how
mean
they're
it's acceptable. Doesn't mean they
yes,
can't
it
lose.
Does.
Not an acceptable loss.
All right, so if they lose,
if
they lose, I want to hear you crush them and say that you can't lose that game. Okay, well then,
if they play
you
bad,
want to do
I will.
That, if you want to be clickbaity and overreact to a week 2 loss, go for it.
Clickbaity is having a hot take, like an acceptable
I think your
loss.
opinion's a hot take.
How is it a hot take that a favorite's going to win a game?
Because you're saying it's never acceptable to lose. That's unrealistic. I disagree with it. I think it's a hot take.
I'm saying that a Super Bowl champion, without injuries like the other team has, going in as a favorite is not an acceptable loss. That's a hot take.
No,
that's
it's
a
not.
Hot
but
cake.
You also acknowledge.
You have a hot take. I have a hot cake.
All right, that's it, gentlemen. Ding, ding, ding. All right. I think what we need to do is each of you, without being interrupted, give a final statement, and then we'll kind of. I've been sitting. This is way more fun on this side. I gotta say,
just sit back and just listen. to it.
Well, I've been scoring this like a bout. Yeah,
early.
Well, that always seems to happen in these. It does. All right. Why don't
I'll go first.
Eliot, you go first because you weren't second to start it off. You go first, your final statement.
So look, I am impressed by Jolly's mentality. This is why he's been great in Philly radio. He never accepts losing. He's got a tough mentality. He's not playing in the game. It doesn't matter if the players should not think it. Our job is to look at a game and say, how do we think it should play out? What should be expected of the team? And going up against the best quarterback of all time in a desperate situation in their home opener. No, Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. Going up against the best quarterback of all time in a must-win game on the road for a team that's still early in the season, I'm not going to crush them. Maybe I believe in the Eagles more long-term than Jolly does. But I don't think that this team in this game is showing me anything. If they go and compete, that's enough for me. I will accept a loss. I'm not changing my opinion of them based off this spot. The Chiefs are the ones that have to win. The Eagles just have to compete.
Jolly, your final statement.
I think, Eliot, you expect them to lose. We're quibbling about a phrase. I'm not going to say they can't lose, but an acceptable loss in advance. I was looking at Hugh when I started my statement. When I mentioned the term acceptable loss, Hugh started to cry.
Well, Hugh agreed with me yesterday, so.
I mean, acceptable loss does not exist. Competitors don't ever accept a loss in advance. Jalen Hurts never, ever accepts a loss. Neither did Jordan. Neither
not
did Tiger.
Saying he should.
That's what acceptable loss means.
No.
Yes,
I have not said once that the players should accept it.
Let him finish.
I mean, it's insane. When I saw this, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Clickbait, hot take, whatever you want to say, get people to read. And I like your stuff. I like
your stuff
but
too.
It's a ridiculous point of view. That's an acceptable loss for a better team, favored, healthier, who played poorly last week, wants to improve, wants to repeat, great coach, great everything, to say, oh, well, we may lose. You can't say that. You got to think you're going to win. You can't accept it. If you're a fan, best fans in the world, want to win, think they're going to win, they're going to win, and it's not acceptable ever.
Classic hot take.
All right, that is it.